This entire presentation is a bunch of mnemonics that I have gathered, all that deal with redox reactions. So if you find these helpful, that's great. If you don't, then don't worry about them. The first mnemonic I gave you was oil rig, and that was oxidation is losing and reduction is gaining. So once you identify whichever element is oxidizing, it's the one that is losing your electrons. So it's producing electrons on the product side. And whichever one is gaining electrons is your reduction. And so this would be the reactant side. Personally, this is the one that I remember because it's easier to think about. Oxidation is losing, reduction is gaining. Another mnemonic for identifying which way the electrons are moving is Leo says Gur. Losing electrons is oxidation and gaining electrons is reduction. When we get into cells, you may want to identify, or you will definitely have to identify an anode and a cathode. And so the way that you can remember which one is the anode is at the oxidation, so they both have vowels, and the cathode is at the reduction, and they don't have vowels. You can also do it as anox and red cat, whichever works. Red cat, reduction cathode, anox, anode, oxidation. You will have cells like this one, and you will be asked to label the direction of the electron flow, and that's as easy as A, B, C. The electrons flow in the direction of the ABCs. So once you identify the anode, you will go from the anode to the cathode. So in this case, our anode is here at the zinc, and our cathode here is at the copper, and the electrons flow this way, as you can see labeled on this diagram. For calculating cell potentials, to find the E cell, it is red minus ox because it's called redox. So you are subtracting, you're taking the reduction minus the oxidation, and that's how you find the cell potential. Because we're working in redox, red minus ox. If you're asked to decide between two cell potentials and figuring out which one is going to be reduction or cathode, reduction or oxidation. So you look at your two potentials and you're going to think reduction is the cathode, which is more positive. Reduction is cathode, remember red cat, and it's more positive. So of your two numbers, of your two potentials, let's say you have 7.6, that's a ridiculous number, you'd never have that, or 1.8. The reduction of those two potentials would be the more positive one. Remember, you can have negative numbers or positive numbers, so you're going to pick the more positive of the values you're comparing. Here's an example. So we have, you're given silver and zinc, and you're just given their cell potentials, or their reduction potentials, and you're trying to figure out which one is going to be the cathode, the reduction. So we would pick the more positive one because we can get a better result. The more positive one is more likely to be reduced. If you look at it, E cell is going to be reduction minus oxidation. So you're going to take the 0.8 minus negative 0.76, which gives you an answer of 1.56 volts.